This episode of Unbox Therapy is brought to you by JackThreads.
What's up, guys? Lou here, and you may remember a little while ago I put the question out there. I asked you guys if you'd be interested in seeing an Unbox Therapy gadget guide for back to school. I got a really good response from all of you saying that you wanted to see it. I understand most of you are back in school by now, but I think doing this guide could still be very useful for a lot of you who are in the market for a number of different gadgets and technology having started school back up. So I selected a few different products in a number of different categories, and I've got them right here on my phone. So let's go ahead and go through them. I'll tell you guys what my recommendations are. So the first category I want to talk about is phone, the phone category. Now, obviously I understand that a phone is not necessarily part of student life, although everybody has one and most people need them. And most of you guys are probably interested in smartphones, to be specific. So my first suggestion, I've got 3 different suggestions. My first suggestion in the phone space is to wait. Yes, not a product at all. It's to wait for some announcements that are taking place and also some products that are going to be released really soon. Obviously, the Apple event is happening very soon. We're going to see a new iPhone. Nokia came out with the new Lumia. So there's a lot of new stuff that has been announced and hasn't been thoroughly reviewed yet. So if you can wait on a phone purchase, then do that. If you can't wait and you need something today, then my recommendation would be probably the Galaxy S3, but only if you're comfortable with rooting it and modifying it, because I am personally not a big fan of TouchWiz. That, of course, is the Samsung skin that they put over top of the native Android. So if you're a little bit tech savvy and you want to get in there and root the phone and adjust it a little bit to make it a little bit more user-friendly and closer to the stock Jelly Bean, then I would recommend that device. And if you're not comfortable doing that, then I'd recommend this device right here, which I'm using to read the notes, which is the Galaxy Nexus. Of course, this phone is a little bit older, and because of that, it's hard to suggest it, but it is still really the only phone that is going to give you stock Jelly Bean out of the box. And you know, I'm a big fan of having the latest and greatest in terms of software. So if you need a phone today, then I would recommend the Galaxy Nexus or the Galaxy S3, as I said, if you're a little bit more savvy. In the tablet space, I have a couple of suggestions. My first suggestion is the Nexus 7. Now, I know that Amazon recently announced all these new Kindle tablets, but once again, I'm going to say I much prefer a stock Google Android environment than I do some mega skinned interface. And the Kindle Fire in the past has been one of the most skinned Android experiences. By most skinned, I mean the biggest alterations made to a traditional Android experience. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend the Nexus 7. The price point is awesome, $199 starting point. And it's also small, it's 7 inches. So carrying it back and forth to school should be really, really easy to do. If you're not a fan of Android and you're more of an Apple fan, I mean, they obviously make great products too, I would probably wait in that sense, because they may be announcing a more portable, more affordable iPad to compete against all these new 7-inch tablets. So rather than go out and buy the latest iPad for $499, I would probably wait. I don't think people should be spending $500 on tablets by today's standards. I think we're going to see that price drop on the average tablet price and come a lot closer to that Nexus 7 price at $199. Anyway, guys, I've got a lot more to come, including my laptop pick, my headphones pick, and more. But first, here's a quick message from the sponsor of this show.
So I'm very excited to announce a brand new sponsor here on Unbox Therapy. They're called JackThreads, and I really hope you guys can head over and show them some love. They're a unique, invite-only menswear club that has up to 80% off retail on a number of very popular brands. You've got brands like Nixon, Reebok. They've even got official New Era stuff. In fact, I picked up 2 New Era caps yesterday. They had them on sale 2 for $30. It was pretty much irresistible. But as I said, almost the whole site is 80% off retail, so you'd pretty much have to be an idiot to keep shopping traditional retail at this point. It's real simple. This video right here acts as your official invite to the club. You could check out all the cool looks that they've got. You can improve your back-to-school appearance if you want, or you could just browse around. It's really up to you. All you got to do is head over to jackthreads.com/therapy. As I said before, that's your official invite. You could check out all this cool gear, browse around for free, and help out this show right here at the same time. It's a win-win situation. Head on over right now.
All right, so the next category I want to talk about is laptop. Now, I have actually in the past been very clear about my favorite laptop for a student, and that still remains the same right now, which is the latest generation 13-inch MacBook Air. Reason being is because it really has all the attributes that a student would need. It's small, thin, light, etc. Has good battery life. It's got an awesome operating system. It's durable, and it came down in price, making it more affordable for the average student. It has a high resolution or relatively high resolution screen for a 13-inch laptop, and so that would definitely be my number one recommendation. If you're more of a PC user or you just want to stay away from Apple in general, then I do have a great suggestion, which is the Asus UX32, which has an incredible 1080p screen, which is crazy for a 13-inch or any Ultrabook for that matter. So a very high-res screen. It's got Core i7 inside of it, a very powerful, thin and light. And the difference between this particular notebook, the Asus UX32, and something like the MacBook Air is that there are user replaceable and user upgradable components. When you buy a MacBook Air, you're stuck with what you order. There's very little you can do in the future to improve its performance, but with the UX32, you can go ahead and swap out hard disk and add RAM, which is crazy for something in that form factor around that 3-pound sort of size. The next thing I want to talk about is headphones. You guys know I pay a lot of attention to headphones, and I've got a few suggestions in the headphone space for anybody going back to school or anybody looking for a set of headphones in general. My first recommendation, my budget recommendation, is a $50 set of headphones that I'm always recommending, which is the Sony XB500s. I use them all the time. They are super comfortable, super light. Not the best from an appearance perspective, but if you can deal with that, then they are a great option. Another category I want to cover is no budget. If you have a huge budget or you just want to get something great in general, then my suggestion is the AKG K701s. Now, I personally think these are maybe the most comfortable headphones in the world. They have a suspended sort of headband, which allows for them to feel just like cushions, just like air floating on top of your head. They're incredibly comfortable. They have awesome sound reproduction. They're not too heavy in any sort of specific area. There's not too much bass representation, even though they have solid bass response. And they've got an open ear design, so your sound stage is going to be much larger than on a less expensive closed back ear design. Although granted, there'll be a lot more sound leakage, so if that's an issue, you may want to steer clear of those. And I do have one more suggestion. If you're looking for a portable, like an earbud style headphone, then I'd recommend the Marley Zion in-ear earbuds. I recently reviewed those and unboxed them. I'll put links to all this stuff down in the description so you can go check that out. But the Marley Zion in-ear headphones have great sound reproduction, an incredible amount of bass for an in-ear style headphone, and the construction is awesome too. They're made basically out of metal and wood, which you don't see too many earbuds made out of high quality materials these days. One more category I want to cover is the camera category. Now obviously cameras are not something you need to go back to school with, but a lot of you are interested in cameras and may purchase one this year, so I do have a couple of suggestions. My first suggestion in the sort of all-around camera category is the Sony HX30V. Now, I personally use an HX9V for a lot of stuff that I do, which is the older version of the 30V. A lot of things are shared between the two. The 30V makes some improvements. You've got a slightly better zoom range. I think the build quality is a little bit better too, in my opinion. And you've also got Wi-Fi built in, so there are some cool additions made on the HX30V to an already great camera that I use a lot, which is the HX9V. It has awesome image stabilization, a ton of zoom. It's just a great camera for a point and shoot. The next in the semi-pro category is the T3i from Canon. I'm using the 60D to speak into right now. I do a lot of my video work on the 60D, but you could definitely get away with a T3i. It adds some cool things like a touchscreen as well, so that's my recommendation in the semi-pro category. And I also have a webcam recommendation if you guys want to improve the quality of your webcasts, live streams, etc. I want to recommend the Logitech C615. It's full HD. It has autofocus, an awesome camera, good audio too, so check that one out. And the last thing I want to talk about is storage. I know it's kind of boring, storage. Who wants to talk about that? I use SanDisk Extreme cards in all of my different cameras. I've had no problems with them at all. They're incredibly durable cards. They're thick, they're rigid. I've never had one go wrong on me, and they're slightly weatherproofed as well. They have incredible transfer speeds too, and On top of that, you can get them at great prices right now over on Amazon. So SanDisk for storage, definitely a big recommendation of mine. All right, guys, that wraps up this little recommendation guide in terms of back-to-school gadgets and just gadget recommendations in general. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and a favorite, as it does help out a bunch. If you're interested in checking out any of these products, all the product links are down in the description of this video, so you can go click through and check out pricing and availability on all of them. And I want to hear your guys' suggestions down in the comments. What do you recommend, or what are your choices in those particular categories? All right, guys, thanks as always for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Later.